in part one, I talked a little bit about, my motivations for writing a book, and how it took me a long time to really just be a finisher, man, and stop procrastinating. So to get into the book is just poems I've written over the past 20 years. I'll open it. Give me a second. Okay. And again, listen, I'm not, tech savvy. I'm not a content creator, none of that, so I know the video is gonna be a little chopped and screwed, a little bit crude, but just bear with me, and take this journey with me, man. But as you can see, all the poems, they're from different years, right? Like enlisted, that one I wrote back in 2003 when I, enlisted into the military. Some of them are from more recent 2024. Some of them are from just throughout the years, man. And a little bit of my story, like I told you, at the age of 18 years old, my favorite rapper, well, Pac, that's my all-time favorite, right? But my favorite rapper at the time was this rapper Nas, right? And he had this song called My Book of Rhymes. And he had this bar in there. And this was when the Jay-Z Nas beef was like in full throttle, So that's how we used to do, bro. Me and my friends growing up, argue all day. Jay-Z or Nas or whatever, right? So I was a Nas fan, and Nas had this song called My Book of Rhymes, right? And in the song, he had this bar. He said, "Soul on ice, death threats given by clowns. I guess live in this prison when you live around clowns. I'm hex, curse worse. I was abnormal because I could overcome any task cordial. So there it is. I'm a prince. I'm against lames who do minor shit and swear they at the top of their game." So anyway, that was just, I mean, I haven't heard that song in years and years, but um um yeah, that bar was just so dope. So one day, this was back in 2003, 2004, I was at the library, right? I was at the library, not reading a book, trying to get no books. I was there for the free internet, right? Back in the day. You youngsters won't know about that. So I was at the library using a free internet for this or that, up to some mischief probably on there. And what I did, and I was walking out, or I was walking by, and I this is my dedication to my wife, you know, and I passed this book, the Black History section, and it was a book called Soul on Ice. So I'm like, Nas got a book out? Like, what's really good? But what it turns out, that was the book Soul on Ice by Eldridge Cleaver, right? And again, I already gave my disclaimer. I don't support Eldridge Cleaver. I mean, listen, all I'm gonna say is, you do your research on Eldridge yourself, man. I love the Black Panther Party for self-defense, but a big part of their downfall surrounds Eldridge Cleaver. Now, who am I to say? Who am I to judge what was going on back then? You know, bottom line, Eldridge shed blood for the movement, but he also spilled blood in the movement. But that's not the point. That's not the point. We said, when it comes to their heroes, Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, uh, Benjamin Franklin, Ronald Reagan, John Wayne, they separate the good from the bad with their heroes. But when it comes to our heroes, they tear our heroes down. They can't wait to tear our heroes down. They can't compartmentalize when it comes to our heroes, but they'll turn a blind eye when it comes to their heroes. But I digress. Back to the point is that, the bottom line is, at that point in my life, an 18-year-old, angry, young black male, poor, no direction, growing up on hip hop music, Pac, Nas, Jay-Z, Master P, Bone Thugs and Harmony. Them was my uncles and role models and big homies. Like, that's who I grew up on, man. That's who I grew up on. I didn't find the Black Panther Party for self-defense office in my neighborhood. I didn't find Malcolm X's, organization headquarters in my neighborhood. I didn't have a grandfather to teach me how to fish and hunt. A father I didn't have all of that, man. And every young boy needs a man to look up to. So either we choose positive heroes or negative heroes are thrust upon us. And that's the truth of it. So at the time, the way my mind was, the way I had been culturally conditioned, I wasn't trying to hear no Bible. I wasn't trying to hear no Martin Luther King. I wasn't even really ready for Malcolm X at that time, bro. But that Eldritch, that spoke to me. So I read that book from the library, and it just changed my life, man. It changed the trajectory of my life. And Eldridge had this, and this is how crazy it is, man. Eldridge had this one line in a book, man, where he said, it's two ways that a man can find out who he really is. It's two ways that, you can become a man, that your rites of passage. Either you got to go to prison or go to the military, which is crazy to say. And as a 40-year-old man, as a father of a young son, I won't want my son to do either one. But when he said that, I was like, yeah, that's it. That's my rites of passage. I don't want to go to the penitentiary, so I joined the military. Like literally 2 weeks later, I joined the military. It wasn't in a vacuum because I had a homeboy, my boy Mike. He was like my best friend at the time. He had joined the Navy before, and I was like, bro, you tripping? Ain't no way. And he had came back and whatever. I'm like, okay. He planted to see, like, you should come. I'm like, nah, I ain't feeling it. But when I read that line by Eldridge in that book, that a young boy has to go to prison or go to the military as a rites of passage. Boom, I signed up. Long story short, I signed up, man, and it was God's plan for me. So I'm not here praising Eldridge. I'm just telling you my journey. So I started writing poetry. Even back then, I was writing poetry, just writing it down. And so you see some of the poems are from 2003, 2004. You see, that's the nature of some of the poems. So I'm going to open up and read one of them for you in a second, man. I'm trying to think which one should I read. Give me a second, and I'll pop right back up with one I want to read for you and give you a taste of what to expect in Soul on Water. All right, I'm gonna read. I'm back. I'm gonna read a poem called "The Freedom You Speak Of." By the way, I know it's like my setup is not ideal, but look, I'm at my son's football practice over here, man. My son at football practice, and I'm in the car waiting for him. So it just is what it is. But this is one of my poems. This is one I wrote in 2016. It's entitled "The Freedom You Speak Of." I find no greater irony than this concept they call freedom, because it is violently snatched away whenever one wanders beyond its designated borders. How can true freedom have boundaries, well guarded and fortified, seeming only to keep the poor encircled and the rich entrenched? I find no greater hypocrisy than this system they call democracy, because my voice and my vote goes unanswered and ignored. We the people have no say in how our tax dollars are spent or where our troops are sent to kill and to die for the ambitions of neocons and warhawks. What am I to a politician other than means to a selfish end? I find no choice more vile than having to choose between the so-called right or left, Republican or Democrat, conservative or liberal, because I see wickedness on both sides of the aisle and corruption on both sides of the coin, while the truth always resides comfortably in the middle. I refuse to give a pledge of allegiance to man-made isms and schisms designed only to divide and conquer the will of the people. I give my loyalty to God and the men of righteousness. Okay, so that's when I wrote about 2016, but it's probably more relevant than ever. So please support, man. If you can support me in two ways. You want to get the book, you can go right now. It's only on Amazon, so I'll put a link in the description, right? But you can go on Amazon and just put Soul on Water Poetry, right? That's one way to support. And again, for me, it wasn't about the money. By publishing this book, this is my son, by the way. If you didn't watch the first part, that's my son on his 4th birthday, right? I took him to South Padre down by the border in South Texas. We some Texas boys, but I already won, man. Just publishing this book, man, for myself, and I gave my son something. But that's how you can support if you want to buy it. The other way you can support, man, is if you got a dream. If you like me, 70s babies, 80s babies, Lost Boy, follow that passion, that dream you got, man. Invest in yourself. I just turned 40, and this was my 40th birthday present to myself. So you ain't got to spend no money to support me, man. You can just If you like me, you come from where I come from, you've been through the type of things I've been through, and you always wanted to do something, write a book. I don't know what other people's dreams are, but like, I don't know, man. I only know myself. I've always wanted to be a writer, and I never did it, man. Life kept getting in the way. But support by following your dreams, doing something positive, leaving a legacy for your seeds, man. And I mentioned that in my first video. My dad passed away this summer, and it was like, he didn't leave me nothing behind. Not even on no materialistic thing. Like, man, I don't need your money, pops. Like, nah, it ain't that type of party. But like, what legacy did he leave me behind? And it's like, man, that's all that matter, man. What you leave behind after you know. So support me by doing what I did, which was being a finisher, you know, because we have a crisis with young boys. I said I'm a school teacher, and we have a crisis with boys in America and probably all over the world, especially the westernized postmodern world. And you know, we need to start having men who lead legacies, leave good examples for the boys we leaving behind, you know. So peace out, man. If you want to support the book, again, go on Amazon, you can pick it up. And that's it, man. That's it. Peace out.